Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Threshold Podcast. I'm Noah,
Case.
I'm Elijah.
and today we're going to be talking about dogs.
As our first discussion of matter, this is what Noah wanted to bring up. So let's hear it, Noah. What did you find?
So it starts at my Nana's house, right?
Mhm.
My Nana gave my mom some magazines, Smithsonian, right? And on the way home, I'm reading this magazine called The Science Behind K9 Cognition. And
What does that mean?
essentially, it talks about the differences between human thought and dog thought. And it was absolutely fascinating to me.
All right.
So, the idea behind it is that humans think in some symbols, right?
Mhm.
Like words, ideas, stuff like that.
Abstract concepts, yeah.
Right, yeah. But the dogs don't think like that. They think in a more, I don't want to say pragmatic, but just
Primitive.
things are what they are. They don't have a symbolism.
It'd be primitive.
Yeah. And so, in that sense, dogs are better at reading humans than humans would be at reading dogs. Because instead of seeing words, body language, all that, they just see like the more basic things, which show how a human is really feeling and is more likely to act, right?
And I think a lot of people notice that in dogs, like
Yeah.
they're more empathetic towards people than
That
people are to
makes
people.
It's crazy.
sense. Humans overthink things, especially when we're talking to each other or just like something's going on and you're just like lying. Dogs don't lie. They don't talk.
Humans
but,
are
like,
so caught up in a web of
Mm-hmm.
concepts, but dogs just things are what they are. And
Yeah.
dogs talk to humans like in a way that they don't talk to dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if a dog's talking to a dog, it's just gonna "Roo." But if it's talking to a human, it'll go to the door or like symbolize to
excited.
the human
Yeah.
what it wants. Because it knows how to communicate to a human differently than a dog.
That is pretty.
Yeah, that was really cool
Neat.
to me. I never thought about how smart these things are.
In that sense, do you think that dogs can better relate to humans than they can to other dogs?
I feel like
I
they're
don't
around
think
them
so.
more.
I think it's kind of like how we talk to dogs. Like we have
Yeah.
our own ways of doing it. Like, who's a good boy? Spanking them and stuff like that. Like we communicate with them differently than we communicate with humans.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same for them, just a reverse process.
But for most dogs, a lot of them who live with humans and they're like, it's like the only dog. That's all they know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why when a dog who just lives with humans might poke its head out the window and hear barking, it doesn't know what the hell to do, so it just barks back.
Yeah. But then if that dog sees another dog, it's not going to talk to it like it talks to a human.
Yeah, yeah. And I noticed this in my dogs, but
What's that?
The how they have their own little their own little personalities.
Oh yeah.
I guess you could call it.
Yeah, their own way of facing the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to get into this as opposed to dogs reading other dogs like mental states, what about like emotional states? Was there any research on their ability to
On
cognate
dog?
dog emotions rather than just like their base cognitive states?
Well, I
Yeah,
know they've
I
done
actually haven't
studies.
thought about that.
They've done studies on dogs reading human emotion, like sensing it. Like
Yeah,
they'll
because if you're
read it.
crying around a dog, it'll try and support you.
Yeah, I don't know if it would do that around another dog, because I mean dogs can get sad. They'll
Yeah.
And
But
I've seen dogs cry. I mean,
are dogs supporting humans when they're crying a Pavlovian response? Like they know that if they support their human, then their human will be happier, and like the human is what feeds them.
The human's not giving the dog any incentive to support him when he's crying. I think the dog just has an emotional attachment to the human.
Could the dog make the complex realization though that supporting the human is supporting their own care system?
What?
Okay, that's a really good question. I think that cats think like that. I think that cats see it in that more objective way.
That's thinking
Yeah,
above us.
like the cynical perspective on it. Like,
Yeah, like they just because I had a cat that would do that. Whenever I cried, she would all rub up on me and make me feel better. And
It was
that's
acting
not
more like a dog in a way.
yeah, yeah. But I
Because
think
I
I
don't think
think
most
that
cats do that.
yeah, cats aren't very emotional. They like having
Mm.
humans around because they know that humans will keep them safe. There's not a love there.
I think in a lot of ways, humans underestimate dogs' cognitive abilities and animals' cognitive abilities in general, and overestimate their emotional abilities.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Here's something interesting I saw, and this kind of gives us a little peek into how dogs think.
Okay.
So Yale did this study. It's their new K9 Cognition department. So they had 4-year-olds and dogs, and they gave both of them this box and showed them that that they pulled a lever and then they could open the box. Here's the trick. The lever does nothing. And so with the kids they would pull the lever and then open the box, and every time the kids would try to open the box, they would pull the lever first. And then they let the dog and then they did the same thing with the dogs. They'd pull the lever and then lift the lid of the box. Well, the dogs knew the lever was just bullshit. They would just open the box.
Dang.
How
Yeah.
So
much
you're
of that
saying that
is
dogs are smarter?
well,
Not necessarily.
I would
I know.
I would take the opinion that the humans are better at critical thinking. They're parsing those two actions, and the dogs are just so reward focused that they're immediately going for the door. And then if the door didn't function, I imagine they would do the lever, but that's conjecture at that point.
Yeah. I actually think that's true. I totally agree with what you're saying there.
I can see it with the whole concept that humans overthink it. The dogs, they go straight for the plain and simple done and done. They know what's that, you know. And
Mhm.
then and humans are like, well, he flipped the lever, then opened it. He flipped the lever, then opened it. Especially a 4-year-old, you know,
Yeah.
they're at that learning curve where they're recognizing patterns and
Mhm.
stuff. So,
Yeah,
That's when you start learning pitch and stuff too. So
mhm.
yeah, that makes sense. And
Mm,
just objectively, when it comes to size, so a human brain is 2% of our body mass. All
I
right?
did not know that.
A horse brain is 0.1% of its body mass.
but do also consider our nerve endings and our spinal cord are also where our emotions and our like brain chemicals and pleasure senses come from. So pleasure is takes up more space in the body than your brain does.
No, that's not true. That's not where pleasure is sensed. That's really just where motion happens.
I'm sure
Like
there's certain parts of those nerve endings that will like react to a sense of pleasure that like
yeah, yeah.
make you feel like it
More
might be
like
coming
an
from that area.
excitatory impulse.
Mhm.
Because the spinal cord is mainly just to get our body moving, and much the same for our brainstem, just our bodily functions happening.
Yeah.
But going on, human brain is 2% of our body mass. A
Mhm.
horse brain is 0.1%. A lion brain is 0.2%. And you think these are pretty smart animals, right? Like they're not absolutely fucking stupid. Because I
Mhm.
You-
mean, horses are one of man's best companions. And
Yeah.
then you look at a dog. Its brain is 1% the size of its body, which is 10 times larger than a horse brain and 5 times larger than a lion brain, just comparatively speaking.
do you
And
have any like comparing that to how surface area for the brain is what matters for as far as making neural connections? That's why sloths have big brains, but they're smooth. So do
okay,
you know
that
whether or
makes
not
sense.
dogs have like creases
I
in
I
their
I
brain?
don't I don't know.
Does brain size actually matter, or am I like just learning this for the first time?
It's the mass of the brain that matters. But like Elijah said, if you can condense the brain by folding it, that's where all the neurons are connected. That's
you
why
can
the human
have.
brain looks like that.
Oh, okay. So you think if our brains were smaller, it would like decrease function?
Oh yeah,
Like if we
we
had
would
a.
just be mentally capable of less if our brains were smaller.
Okay, that makes sense. Huh. I've never thought of that.
So here's a good, strong, big question. Cats or dogs?
What do you mean? Like just in general?
Cats are
Yeah.
fluffier, but dogs are cooler.
Like which do you think is just the superior animal?
Oh, cats.
Because of allergies existing, I think dogs, but it's a close tie. Just depending on what you want.
I personally don't like cats all that much, and I'm allergic to them. I mean, I'm allergic to dogs as well, but I'm more allergic to cats. But I genuinely think that cats. I don't know. I think they're smarter. I mean,
Yeah. Here's what I think. I think dogs can recognize patterns really well. Like they can see, oh, if this happens, then this happens.
yeah.
But cats are just good at intuitively predicting things.
I feel like cats are like psychopaths in the sense that their logical reasoning skills are incredibly on point, but their ability to empathize and recognize emotion is just absent.
Yeah.
I mean, remember
I
that
don't
thing you
think
told me?
I don't think it's entirely absent. I just think it's a lot more basic than, let's say, a dog's emotional process.
Yeah.
That was hyperbolic. I'd say that like cats are intellectuals who are incredibly cynical towards the world, and dogs are like free feeling, kind of love everybody.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Williams syndrome?
I know the name.
It's a genetic deformity that happens in some people, and pretty much it makes them typically less intelligent and more friendly. And we bred that gene from wolves into dogs, which is the reason they are the way they are.
That makes sense. I mean, you can just look at a dog now and tell that it's less intelligent
Yeah.
than a wolf.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, dogs evolved from wolves because they kind of they realized that like by Darwin's law of natural selection, the wolves that were interacting with humans and empathizing them and had that capacity were better at getting food than the ones who are just pure hunters. So
Right.
maybe it's less a full dumbing down and more a trading intelligence for empathy, which kind of
Right.
which gets to this new level of like which is more important, empathy or intelligence when it comes to survival standards. Because I mean, history and I guess evolutionary history shows us empathy because it develops in almost every animal in some capacity. At least
Well,
elephants and like more intelligent animals.
let's talk about a very intelligent animal.
What's that?
Dolphins.
Oh yeah,
Dolphins
that's a good.
dolphins are serial rapists. They'll gang rape
Yeah,
anyone they
they
see.
fuck for pleasure.
They also purposefully like inject themselves with puffer fish venom to get high. So that and that's a real thing.
I
Dolphins
believe
are
that.
fucking smart.
It brings a new meaning to puff puff.
They're like a they're like a fish version of humans,
Yeah,
basically.
but I'd say they're a little less social, a little more uh, impulse driven.
They're like a black mirror reflecting what we find evil within ourselves. Like because we kind of see dolphins doing that and we're like that's messed up and then we go on to do war.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's very true. I mean, dolphins aren't going to war with each other.
do you think that if dolphins were capable of language, like if they could just speak words and do you think we could teach them that? Like if they were able to just talk physically, if they had that
just
capacity,
each other or us
So,
as well?
so there's a
just each
really
other.
there's a really interesting story of a woman who tried to do that, and then the dolphin went full hedonistic on her and tried to impregnate her. Not a joke. It's a real thing. Let me
Oh
find her.
my god. Pull that up.
What the fuck?
That sounds fucking incredible. You can't be clickbaiting me right now.
I'm trying to picture what a dolphin penis looks like.
I imagine it just looking like a smaller dolphin.
I don't want to look it up.
It's Margaret Howe Lavatt.
Yeah.
Is who did it. There's a BBC documentary about her a few years ago.
So what happened?
Essentially, the dolphin would just like start. It was making progress, but then it started refusing to speak unless it was like satiated.
Oh my
And
god. In week 5, Peter
then
started
eventually
Peter is
did-
the dolphin. Peter started to exhibit signs of sexual attraction towards Hal Lovett. Hal Lovett stated that it was not sexual on her part, but it allowed her to get to know Peter.
What the fuck?
Here's a quote from her. In order to satisfy Peter's increasing sexual urges, he would be transported to another pool with 2 female dolphins. Eventually,
man,
Lovett took it upon herself to relieve Peter of his urges.
What?
Holy fuck.
What? Like she would suck him off? Just because he was horny? Bruh.
It would become part of what was going on, like an itch. Just get rid of that scratch and we would be done and move on.
It reminds me of I don't know if you guys ever played Portal, but there was like they programmed into the mainframe in Portal that like you had to torture people or else you would feel like permanently itchy.
I've never played Portal.
What the fuck? That dolphin thing just blew my mind.
Dude, that dolphin be getting more than I do.
I don't know if the blame lies more in Margaret Howe or in the dolphin, considering how intelligent dolphins are.
Dude, that's the woman's fault. The dolphin doesn't know that that's wrong. We have
Okay.
laws against that, dude. I mean, she's aware of that, but she can't be like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just an itch. You just gotta jerk him off every once in a while, you know. I mean, hope to God he'll communicate with you.
So
Okay. Well, what if the dolphin was really fucking smart, knew that it was wrong, but just managed to manipulate her into letting him do it? Because at the end of the day, he got what he wanted.
we're getting into the territory of like, when do we start developing a moral compass? Is it through empathy or through intelligence that we develop empathy? Wait, no. Is it through emotion or through intelligence that we develop empathy?
I think both are necessary for it.
So do dolphins just go too hard in the paint on intelligence and they're just
Yeah.
doing whatever they want?
Like, I don't know. I don't know how intelligent dolphins are.
Pretty fucking intelligent, apparently, if they know that they can just poke at a woman and just get their dick sucked. Like, dude,
I have respect for that dolphin.
I have to think that she used her hand.
Oh, I have to hope. Don't
She
look it
blew
up.
the
if that dolphin was that smart, he would realize the mouth felt better. He'd be like, oh. Like she tried to use her hand and he would just fucking like tail whip her. Bah!
Holy shit.
Dude,
So
They make a
she
movie about that.
she also tested LSD on dolphins.
oh no, she's fucked in the head, dude.
Those poor dolphins.
She's fucked in the head.
Since neither her communication experience nor her LSD research was proving fruitful, her dolphinarium eventually lost all funding.
I sure wonder why it wasn't proving fruitful.
What the fuck? Since the building lacked sunlight and space, Peter quickly deteriorated and eventually committed suicide
What?
by drowning.
What?
So dolphins have to have some intelligence to know that, like, after not like feeling hedonistic joy, they kill themselves. That has to be.
Well,
I
no,
can't think of
but
any
I
other.
think it was the
Yeah.
lack of serotonin from the sunlight.
yeah, they took away the sunlight. I mean, they left that dude in one pool with no sun. I mean, maybe they fed him.
But even still, he would have to reason that for some reason he was feeling more sad than he used to, and so now he was
Oh,
like,
yeah, if he was that smart, I'm sure he debated it for a long time. I mean, if you were stuck in a pool with no sunlight and you were just there for days on end, dude, I would get to a point where I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna drown. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I mean, that dolphin knew what was up. He couldn't get his dick sucked anymore.
I like to imagine that in his final moments, all he could think about were those very glorious moments.
Just trying to reminisce what her tongue felt like.
okay, and we move on. Next topic.
I don't know. Have you
Dude.
guys ever jerked off a dolphin?
Not a dolphin, but I can't speak to the other.
Have you ever swam with a dolphin?
No.
I've done it twice.
Was
After
it cool?
like dolphins like
Yeah.
hunt sharks for pleasure, like because they have like such aggressive noses, they can like beat sharks to death.
Dude, it's like they're using like the Stone Age with their own bodies. They're just like, ah.
You know, I'd be freaked out to swim with a dolphin.
I think the biggest inhibitor of the dolphins, let's say sentience, is its physical form.
What do you mean?
It can't grab things. It can't make things,
Yeah,
and so it's
but
limited.
evolution could take its toll. It's like how whales have knees.
Ugh.
Yeah, dolphins probably know things that we don't know. Because I mean, you think of like the butterfly and the types of shrimps who can see like visible light on the entire spectrum.
Mhm.
Like they got to know something we don't.
Right, right. There's some type of thinking that a dolphin is way better at than we are.
The ocean.
I do wonder, like,
I'd
surface
imagine.
area comparison between dolphins and humans. I'll look that up right now.
I think dolphins. Oh, what if like dolphins have discovered this like alien species at the bottom of our ocean,
And
and
they're
they're
just
just
trying
like,
to keep it from us.
yeah, they're like, hey, look, these guys, dude, don't fuck with them. They got my boy Bill in a tank. He's just been there for years, bro.
So dolphins have almost 2 times the neocortical area of their brain. So presumably they can make 2 times the neural connections humans can. Unfolded, it's the difference between a dinner napkin and an unfolded newspaper.
Wow.
Dang. The Dolphins, the newspaper?
Yes.
Jesus shit. We're dumb. If those things had legs
To be
and
fair,
an
dolphins
ability
haven't
to speak,
discovered atomic bombs yet. So, I think we're ahead of the game.
yeah, but like I said, we haven't discovered that alien species they're hiding from us, so they don't end up in a tank for several lives of their years, or years of
Yeah.
their lives.
They're telling those aliens those dudes are fucking weird. Do not go
Dude.
there.
The,
Stay in
the,
the ocean.
the only good thing is that one girl who sucked my boy Jim off.
It was Peter, actually.
Oh, Peter, my bad.
Rather well named, if in my opinion. But that's actually like I know it's probably gonna drive somebody insane, but that's the that's the plot to the first
Oh,
chapter of
man.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is that the world is ending and aliens are gonna take us over, and the dolphins are the only one who know.
Really?
Yeah.
We're not the first people to think of this.
Clearly.
Peter, Jesus fuck. Oh my god. I can't get over
On the
this.
topic of intelligent animals, I know that like elephants are also incredibly intelligent, and
Mhm.
and you know about all there have been tons of elephant executions in history, so I'm wondering why there haven't been any dolphin executions.
I'm sure there have.
What were the elephant executions? I don't know about those.
So Edison, whenever he was like trying to promote direct current power as opposed to Nikola Tesla's alternating current, wanted to kind of paint a bad picture for alternating current power. So he shocked an elephant to death with alternating current power just to show that it's more dangerous, even though it's not. And it was all kind of like,
It was propaganda.
yeah. And then there was another one, I forgot its name, but it got hung from a crane because it accidentally killed its handler at a circus.
Oh god.
So
What the fuck?
humans are pretty messed up when it comes to how we treat animals. So maybe we do deserve the dolphins chagrin.
That's messed up. I don't.
What's the scariest animal you know that you could take in a fight?
Like just bare fist fight.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Like
trying
you
to
don't have any tools. Like if there's sticks around you, you can use them.
Hello.
honestly straight up nothing bigger than me because any animals bigger than me are designed to hunt and I'm not. But
What about deers?
no, I think a deer could mess me up. They get like
God.
Oh, they got them antlers,
for
bro.
you.
They'll fuck you
Yeah.
up.
I could maybe beat up a doe if we were like in a boxing ring together. But that's like the largest animal, not the
The
scary.
body slam a doe. You just make sure that thing don't kick you in the jaw, dude. You just grab that thing, boom, you know.
Thing is, they're so
Yeah.
fucking fast.
Yeah,
They would just
yeah,
get
no,
a-
they just run.
It would have to be like a boxing ring, like closed in, and I just get a square punch to the jaw, and maybe hopefully get a. We might be animal abusers, guys. Theoretically,
I
we're
could
kinda
fight.
going
I could.
after animals.
I think
I
I
don't
could take
know.
on a kangaroo.
Oh hell no! People have tried
No,
that. They get
dude.
their
No,
they get
dude.
their shit
I
beat
saw this
in.
video, dude. This kangaroo's kicking his dog, and so he goes and punches the kangaroo in the
No,
face.
no, he pops him in the face, but if that kangaroo wanted to, he could end that man's whole career.
Yeah,
Dude,
didn't
the
he
guy
run?
punched him in the face.
He
I know
ran
the
though.
video, and the kangaroo was just shocked. He was just like, I'm done. I didn't expect this today.
He ran, didn't he?
We should link some of these in the show notes wherever they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Dude punches kangaroo.
Didn't he run? The kangaroo like stared at him for a little bit and then just kind of walked off.
I think that's what happened.
Are whales smarter than we are? Whales have knees.
Oh no, he just punches him in the face and walks off.
That
The
was just
kangaroo's just sitting there pissed off.
No, but like
And then the
imagine,
kangaroo runs away.
well, because the kangaroo's flight kicked in. But if the kangaroo's fight kicked in, that guy would be dead on the ground. You know what animals freak me out?
those things' feet are huge.
Probably the scariest animals are like the most low key, as far as like what you think of. But like ostriches and mooses are ridiculous. Like
Moose?
ostriches. Oh, mooses are gigantic.
Is it mooses or is it moose or meese or what the fuck?
It's mooses.
It's
Really?
moose.
That sounds so weird.
It does sound
Yeah.
weird. I agree. But mooses are gigantic. They're like the size of like you know the front cabin of an 18-wheeler? That's about the size of a
I think you're
If it
thinking of a caribou.
No, caribou are smaller than
Oh,
meese.
moose are pretty.
No way.
I'm pretty sure I've seen a moose. When I went up to like the top of the United States near the
They're like SUV
Washington.
size. I'm telling you. They're gigantic.
You ever read The Hatchet?
Yeah.
You know that scene in that book when he has to fight the fucking moose?
No, I don't remember that.
I remember that so vividly for some reason, where he's like trapped in a lake and a moose just keeps charging at him.
Here, Noah, I sent one in the show.
Yeah.
Look
okay.
at that moose.
Yeah,
Look at
it's
that
moose, not caribou. That dude's enormous. Like you think
Crap.
of moose as like horse size, but they're
Yeah.
like the place between moose between horse and elephant.
He's a fucking Subaru.
Yeah, dude could step on your car. And then also ostriches are ridiculous because they got like that speed advantage. They be
Dude,
running.
ostriches are like the wasp version of birds. They just attack you for no reason. They just see you, say, I can outrun that thing, and then maybe peck at your head and just run. I've never heard a good story with an ostrich.
And
Every story I've heard is a bad story.
ironically enough, they don't have a flight instinct. Well, they do, but like their fight instinct is much stronger, so they will kick you in the face before they move.
Which is weird because they don't have a flight instinct, but they're so well. They also can't fly, but they don't have a flight instinct, but they run so fast. Like, you think something that could run that fast would have the biggest flight instinct ever?
I'm telling you, Roadrunner should have been an ostrich. Could
What
have
was
kicked
he?
Coyote's teeth in.
The Roadrunner was a what?
He was a Roadrunner.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know what a roadrunner is.
I don't either. I thought that was just his name.
No, they're around Texas. They're itty bitty things.
Are they like emus? What are they?
I don't know what type of bird they are, but they're small and they zoom. Actually, funny note to that point. There were rules for the animator of Wile E. Coyote versus Roadrunner, and it was that the coyote can never be directly harmed by the Roadrunner. It has to be harmed by his own foolishness. So if you watch the show, there's never an instance of the Roadrunner directly hurting the coyote.
Okay, that makes
It
sense. So it's like an inverse of Tom and Jerry,
Yeah.
where instead of Jerry outsmarting Tom, it's just
The Roadrunner was just living his life, and the coyote
Yeah.
was just fucking dumb.
yeah. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that, but they are just variations of the same concept.
Mimi, bitch.
Yeah, but which one do y'all like more? Just
Tom
purely.
and
Tom and Jerry.
There's more to it.
Yeah, there is, but I mean, Roadrunner is so classic and quotable. I guess Tom and Jerry is a lot more memeable. Though.
Quotable. Mimi, bitch. That's the only quote I know.
Yeah, yeah. Acme.
I mean, as far as like meme images go, Tom and Jerry don't speak. Period. So
Yeah.
I always remember watching Tom and Jerry as a kid and always debating in my head whether or not they were friends. Like, because I remember some episodes they would like be all cool with each other. You know?
it's Doofenshmirtz and Perry the Platypus the entire time. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's like, or also Joker and Batman.
Yes. Oh, bro, that's perfect. Like,
They kind of need each other without even knowing it, or without wanting it to be the case.
And then if you follow that to its logical conclusion, then you get Megamind.
Megamind and
Metro Man.
yeah.
It's ironic. It's ironic that the villain is the more memorable character by a mile in that movie. And I would say
The movie's also named after him.
Yeah.
most of history.
No one remembers Jonah Hill, the real villain.
Think about this. Think about this. No one remembers. Well, to a lesser extent, people know the name Hitler much more than people know the name Winston Churchill or was it Truman? Truman was president at the end of World War II. Was it?
Yeah.
who was it at the beginning?
Most
FDR.
people think of FDR, yeah.
Yeah. I think
Well,
Truman-
because there's just more on that man's record. I mean, that guy had a KD of 8 billion or 8 million and or 1.
Yeah. Hey, when you do something that enormous, then
Yeah.
like
I mean, look at FDR's KD. It's negative, bro. It's negative.
people love because hate's a stronger emotion than love because hate's a perversion of love naturally.
Mhm. Yeah.
So people love to hate. That's why serial killers are such an obsession.
yeah. But even some people don't
God.
hate him. They're just fascinated by him.
Well, because it's the past. That's why people say, like, oh, you can't change history. You can't make fun of history because you don't know, there's nothing you can do about it. That's why people are so fascinated by serial killers. They want to know why. They want to know the why, not the what the fuck,
Yeah, definitely.
Because I don't think a lot of people have it in them to actually really kill somebody. I know
no.
I don't. Sometimes like you have the mental thought of like,
Oh,
life
I do.
is so fragile.
I do 100%.
But I would say what's fascinating is what's unlike us. and we do put ourselves in the hero role a lot. So when you see Winston Churchill, you think, "Oh, I could have done that," but like I couldn't have done what.
Hitler
Right,
did.
right.
Right.
When you see someone horrible, that's not you. You don't identify with that.
Yeah.
So it's just fascinating. Like
Well,
what the
then why do you think it is that I mean, you can't take it by measurement of evil because obviously Hitler was extremely evil, but take someone also in that time, like Mao Zedong. No one knows who that guy is, but he
and he did a
killed
lot
a
more.
lot more people.
It's because Hitler had so much charisma that like so many people felt betrayed by him.
I don't think that's what it is.
Well, you look at Stalin, and Stalin had kind of a similar death toll, but Stalin was just like kind
I
of
think it was just
boring.
Hitler's way of doing it.
Yeah. Because Hitler didn't just kill the Jews. He was also like an intense warmonger in throughout Europe with people who are our allies now, which of course makes him educate in the education system as the bad guy.
Yeah. Even though there's much worse.
Yeah.
It's just not taught
And
about as
we
much.
fought with Stalin in World War II. Even though
and that man is evil.
Hitler. Yeah.
It is funny to think like, oh, most of history is a very gray area. And then I guess what's very easy for people who try to categorize our irrational world is that one of the only figures in history who we could say is unequivocally like a horrible human is Hitler. Like everyone else kind of did good things sometimes. Hitler never did anything good though.
Right.
Well, I think it's because
Like
Hitler's so recent.
Alexander the Great is idealized, even though during his time many people saw him as the Hitler.
And I
Yeah.
mean, you look at Lenin and like he founded communism and like America hates that. but,
Yeah.
but Lenin did industrialize his nation and he in his eyes was the good guy and in his country's eyes he was the good guy.
Yeah.
And
At
that's
the
why
end of the day, he wasn't charged by hatred. Do you think that we can say that that's the constant there?
yeah. Fueled by passion rather than by hatred.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he thought he was actually onto something.
Right. He was trying to save the Russian people. Hitler was
It-
trying to kill the
By
Jewish
by
people.
by technicality, Lenin did industrialize Russia faster than anyone else, and he wasn't starving people. It was Stalin who kind of perverted his concepts, but that's like a whole other thing.
Yeah, and that's giving Lenin too much credit, in my opinion. But
No, I fully agree. It was a flawed kind of ideology
yeah,
from the get go,
it's
and
just people say we're
Stalin
sick of the
pushed it
status
to its
quo,
limits.
and Marx was very good at using pathos. Just
Yeah, fucking rhetoric and shit.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing people like sheep for what he
I
wanted.
think he really believed in it, but it was more manipulative.
But yeah, you also got to think that in order for something to look that great, there has to be sheep.
Yeah, and a layer of deceit within it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll put Marx to our earlier point of he was fueled by a hope to change like starvation and to help the world, and so we don't view him as evil now. We view his ideology as kind of not a great idea
Yeah,
Yeah. That's what I mean. You can't make fun of history,
in practice.
because you don't know what actually happened. You don't know what those people were actually thinking.
And yeah, until you've sat in the chair and you
Yeah.
your country is starving and is still like ancient while the rest of the world is progressing. Wild.
I bet you if I sat across the table from Marx and had a conversation about his beliefs, I can almost promise you he could probably sit there and almost, if not convince me that he may or may not be right.
And
Yeah.
I do feel like when you're sitting across the table from someone, everyone becomes a lot more like deluded because when you're not deluded well deluded but not like mentally deluded.
They
I mean
become
like,
more open to suscept.
yeah, more agreeable.
yeah, they're adding water to the mixture.
I agree. I definitely agree with that.
Because when you're alone and you're not empathizing and you're just on full hyperdrive with the intelligence, everything that looks good on paper looks good in reality.
Yeah,
And it's until you're sitting across from a person who's giving you alternate perspectives and who's thinking it through. And I mean, reasonable minds can differ, of course, but they don't differ nearly as wildly as people like to think they do.
Yeah. Like
I mean,
some ideas just sound good. And if you
Yeah.
use the right facts behind them, the right ideas of what you can do with it, then anything will sound perfect.
that's what I mean. You take someone like Marx who was doing that. He was doing it for his own good. You know, his the out of well-being of others. And then if you were to take someone like Hitler, I mean, to us, it's mind-blowing how he convinced all those people that for literally almost no reason that the Jewish were bad, and they're all just like, yeah, you know, this man's got a point. And obviously, we can't look at it like we wouldn't have been phased by it at all, because I mean, you take those people in that time period, and they were probably
they're
going through some
humans,
shit.
just like
Yeah,
us.
Yeah, it's unreasonable to believe that looking back with the hindsight we have now, that we wouldn't be phased by Hitler's charismatic nature.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not to say he's a good person, but it is to say he's very good at manipulating.
he's
We are
very
not
intelligent.
Nazis, but there is a Nazi inside of us. That spirit, that ability to be drawn towards someone's words and go that deep into it.
I mean, I feel like in the modern day, some of the stuff we do might be looked on as atrocious, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, later on. I mean,
to us now, we don't even know what that could be.
yeah. I mean, you take greater powers like that and just add in a little bit of persuasion, and that's how most of history goes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the Nazis was just one example. You could, I mean, dude, look at I mean, some people wouldn't think this, but like I personally believe like a good chunk of the mafia, the Catholic Church, for a very long time. I mean, you can say that, you know, Catholicism might be real, but I know for a fact there was a period where a lot of Catholicism was based on higher powers just straight up manipulating people.
Indulgences, tithes, all
Yeah,
that, just squeezing money out of people so they could live their lavish lifestyles.
yeah,
And they were always holding in front of them the carrot on the stick, which is eternal paradise.
mhm. Yeah. I'm in a Coach Flowers class this semester for College Western Civ, and I'm pretty sure he's a Christian. I'm fairly certain he is, but he talks about that too. How back then people would like the Pope, like in the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, who was greater than the Emperor himself during that time, because he would crown the Emperor. Which, if someone's
Right.
crowning you, that makes them higher than you. The Pope would be like telling someone what to do, and they'd be like, "Well, that's not how I want to run my empire." And he's like, "Do you want to go to heaven? Do you,
Yeah,
do you want to go to heaven?"
Politics.
We also got to think of rulers' powers over us. I mean, like, people loved the Pope even during. If you've ever heard of the Cadaver Synod, where the Pope dug up the last Pope because he had like a personal spite with him, and then put him on trial and sentenced him to death and threw him in the lake
Jesus
What?
Christ.
because he just had some personal vendetta against him because of his brand of Christianity, and then people just followed that and were just fine with it because it was the
Yeah,
Pope.
because he's like, "I'm the
Came up
Pope.
with it.
This is what God wants."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 90% of history is just manipulation. It's just some person realizing that they can take advantage of the people around them. Holy shit. Trial of Pope Formosus resulted from the chaos of the 9th century as factions battled for control of the church.
Oh my
This
god.
is just for
That's so
notes.
incredible.
That's pretty late in history too, 897.
As far as like,
No,
well,
Yeah, as far as Catholicism.
it was pre Magna Carta though, so
Yeah.
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 And that's just like, the Dark
crazy.
Ages is such a scary
You know,
time in my head.
posted a bunch of other messed up stuff here. Let me find
like molesting children.
I don't know if any popes did that, and I'm not gonna conjecture about that because now we're hitting like a level where it might
Yeah,
be sacrilege
yeah.
if we're just accusing people. But 'cause there are some in the
Mhm.
Catholic Church.
Definitely.
I mean, people wouldn't just make up that stereotype for nothing, huh?
Right, it's happened a lot. A
A
lot more than you would
100%.
even think.
Yeah, 100%. You know, there's a thing my stepmom showed me the other day of, I forget what it's called. It was called the Satanic Panic.
Mhm.
You know what that is?
Never heard of it.
I'd
Yeah,
never heard of it before a few days
with
ago.
with Dungeons and Dragons was on trial
Oh, that!
along with
That!
I don't know. This was way late into it. I don't think it was exactly a Satanic Panic, but Tipper Gore going after bands like Twisted Sister and stuff.
I guess that was a part of it. I wasn't really talking about
Like
those things.
Well, that was when like the explicit sticker was added to albums because she
Yeah.
thought that a lot
like,
of
Yeah,
it.
I know
and
I know
then
what
and
you're
then,
talking about.
Elijah, there's that Christian documentary called Hell's Bells
Yeah,
about
yeah,
rock bands.
yeah. So
What was your thing, Chase?
yeah, go on, Chase.
Yeah, she explained it to me and I kind of read into it. It was a thing where I guess all those like labeling things or whatever you were just talking about happened either before or after, I don't know, or maybe it's a different satanic panic. But the one that she showed me, it was in preschools for a very long time. I think it was in the 60s. They just had these random rumors going around that these preschool teachers were making these kids like do rituals and stuff and like do things that go against God and like like sexual endeavors and uh I don't know, different sinful things that they would make them do, and then they would have rituals on the ground or whatever. And they would have these uh parents that kind of found out about it,
Mhm.
or, quote, found out about it, and then they would have cops come in and do investigation. And when they would ask the kids, I mean, they're little kids, they would do the thing that they did on Making a Murderer to what's his face. They would sit there and just ask the same question over and over and never let them go until they gave them the answer they wanted.
Oh, yeah.
To little kids, they would sit there and
God.
manipulate the kids just to get a case out of it so they can get paid.
And at that level, we get back to like dog mentality. Like they're pulling the lever there. They're like, I want to get out of the box, and there's
Yeah. And
a
then
way out.
the kids are
Right.
like, "Oh yeah, this is what happened." But in reality, and then after that one preschool, the preschool that started all, I don't remember what the preschool is called. This out of nowhere started happening to all these different preschools around the country. It's kind of like the Me Too movement. That's how I think of it. But um, but they can never find any evidence. I mean, they've basically gotten to a point where in the late 90s, I'm pretty sure they like shut down all the cases.
Okay.
But I think there's
Just a
still a few that
disclosure.
are.
Just a disclosure. Me Too movement is entirely valid for the
Yeah,
first month.
I will say there is lots to the Me Too movement that was very true early on, and I do think it just got.
Yeah, no. I didn't mean it.
Yeah, get off our tip already.
We just want to make sure that
Yeah, no. I didn't.
we've already condoned Hitler and animal abuse by accident.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm not a misogynistic
I
fuck.
don't know. If
I
someone didn't
promise.
get mad about talking about fucking a dolphin, then they shouldn't be mad about
Yeah, no. I was just
Me
saying that
Too.
because that's how it's looked at sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think there are actual cases with the Me Too movement that have actually been very, very
but it is
false. But I know there's a lot more that are correct.
it's not a fully like out of the realm of possibility idea
Yeah.
that a good majority or maybe a minority, a lot of these cases may be just false allegations just to be part of a movement, you know.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. That's why I was saying it's kind of like the Satanic Panic.
Yeah. A lot
That's
of
why I
these
was
people just
relating
want
it
to
to
be
it.
special.
Yeah. That's
They
why all these
like
preschools just kind of started popping up saying, "Oh yeah, we do."
Yeah, yeah. Oh man.
But obviously, I'm aware that in the Me Too movement that there are a lot more.
I do sometimes wonder about like the people behind those movements, if they did really have like an experience like that, or if people in the Satanic Panic might have just been like, "You want to cause a national travesty?"
Yeah.
They just wake up one day and be like, you know what I want to fucking do today? I want to feed into this and just make these parents just flip their shit. Hey,
think-
guess what we do? We do rituals, bitch.
I think it started. This is how I think it started. Most likely, it's just there's some parent that sees their kid doing some weird shit that they're scared of and makes them uncomfortable, and they think that the only logical conclusion is that they learned it at their preschool.
Oh, that's exactly what happened. If I could find the article on it, I would read it, but I don't think I'd be able to find it again. But it was literally just a single mom that her kid like came back with like the flu or something, and she thought that something was wrong with what was going on at the preschool. So
Oh
she
my-
went up there and asked a bunch of questions, but the teachers or whatever couldn't really give her an accurate answer of what was going on with their kid because
Mhm.
for some reason they couldn't figure out that he was just fucking sick.
Right.
So she called the police, and then they went on all this like, so what's actually going on here? And she was like, it's a satanic, because she was like,
yeah, she's like psychotic.
yeah, no, I think she was. They claimed that she was schizophrenic.
That makes perfect sense to me.
But you got to think like one person, that one schizophrenic person, caused this 5-6 year period of
Mass hysteria.
for no reason.
Mhm. And people are
And-
kind of enticed by that. Like they want to see something happen.
Yeah,
Which we
'Cause
kind of talked about this on our first episode.
yeah. People want to see just. Well, you were saying it because you were saying that you were like bored of life as of right now because of I mean there's not really much to do.
I think it's easy for people to get in that mindset without realizing it, that they just want something to happen.
Yeah,
Just some sense of meaning.
but then something does happen. They're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, well, hold on now. I think I should go state my opinion on this on the interwebs and see how people react to it.
Just so you can get a little ounce of validation.
Yeah, or an ounce of people
Yeah.
going against it. So they're like,
It-
oh, fuck.
It's
Mhm.
especially fun to think of not just the people who like maybe struck it lucky one time with a little schizophrenic episode here or there, but also to think of how many like false things were started by people in power just on a whim, just because they could, and
Yeah.
maybe not even on purpose.
Oh, 100%. There's no way that hasn't happened.
And whenever you have power, I think you're more likely to do something like that without even thinking about it. Because you have this power and you just wield it without realizing what you're doing. Like when Alex Jones said that the Sandy Hook school shooting was faked. That was just a little theory he had, but he preached it as fact because he could.
That I'm sorry, that the what was fake?
Sandy Hook school shooting.
Really?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And as
Alex
much
Jones.
as easy as it is to villainize him, we do and probably because he might be a villain.
I
also
don't think he's a villain. I
a
think
lot of people don't realize that like they are up on stage, as it were, in this internet era, and instead they're just kind of saying like, oh, maybe this could be true, and then people are taking it as fact.
No, I mean he was saying it was fake and that it was a mass conspiracy for gun control.
Fucking Alex Jones, bro. He's so...
Maybe in that case, but think of other ones like
You're a fraud.
Trump tweeting about election fraud.
Get over here!
Well, think Trump tweeted about election fraud,
You
and
6-year-old.
then his supporters were like pushing that narrative, and then it pushed so hard that he was like, "Oh, maybe I was right, and the election was fraudulent."
No, I mean he adamantly pushed it the whole time. It wasn't a apprehensive thing at first.
Well,
What, the
how
rating of the Capitol?
much of it was like it being boosted by his supporters echoing his sentiment?
Oh yeah,
You
if
talking about
everyone, if everyone dismissed it, he wouldn't have kept going with it. That's a very good point.
Are you talking about the rating of the Capitol?
No, to just the election fraud in general.
Fraud as a general concept.
Oh,
And
dude, he's just a stubborn little man, dude. I mean,
think about how many like weird conspiracy theories Trump probably made that never got off the ground because his supporters were like, "That's a little bit too much for me."
Yeah. Yeah.
but I support you, so we're just gonna let it, slide by like you didn't just say that.
Trump dipped his toes in a lot of different conspiratorial
100%.
waters.
Yeah. I mean, and people are so easily
y'all
fucking
think
moved, man.
Do y'all think that Trump watched InfoWars?
Hell no.
Bro. I mean, people forget that Trump had Steve Bannon as his executive advisor. The editor-in-chief of Breitbart, which is as close to InfoWars as you can get.
I don't know who that is.
He was all over the news during the first couple years until Trump had to fire him because he was bad for his image.
Yeah, a lot of people quit and a lot of people got fired. That whole campaign, that whole yeah,
I mean, that's what most of them do. They do things for their image.
it got shaken up a bunch. Like
Yeah,
think about
it was just a disaster.
Fauci getting threatened to be fired.
Yeah.
It was so much fun watching the news though, watching it just crumble the entire way.
What?
The White House administration.
Oh yeah.
Because like Michael Flynn, Steve Bannon, even Michael Cohen.
And there was a period like every other week he was firing somebody.
Yeah, people were getting arrested left and right. All
Yeah.
kinds of crazy shit was happening.
I got to a place where and I'm still at it, where I'm like, I care about politics, yes, but picking a side is going to be bad for me no matter who I pick.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm watching it all crumble with like a weird, vague melancholy, if that makes sense. Like I'm not happy that our government is collapsing around us, but it is enjoyable to watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You sit there and like I kind of think of it like if it does collapse, maybe, just maybe, they'll learn. But then I think, no, they won't. No, they won't.
No. Nobody
We'll
ever.
all learn for like a week, and then
Yeah, I'd be like, oh shit, we shouldn't have done this, and then something will come up. I mean, that's how a good chunk of dictatorship started.
Mm-hmm.
The original government would collapse, and this one guy would pop up. Hey, guess what I know how to do?
Solution.
yeah, it's all sensationalism. Be it
Yeah.
sensationalism about the solution or sensationalism about the problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
guys, we just hit that 1 hour mark.
Hell yeah, this was.
Are you ready to tie ribbon on this one?
That was a good. One more thing.
Yeah.
To the Pope point, there was also the banquet of chestnuts, which is known as one of the biggest ragers in history, and it's where the Pope invited a bunch of his friends over and invited like double the amount of friends he had in prostitutes. It's pretty game to see who could service the most prostitutes.
Oh my god. The
Oh
Pope.
God. The Pope.
Yeah. I
Rage.
sent the article. You can put it in the show notes. I'll help you.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Jesus Christ.
All right,
Literally.
guys, this has been a good podcast.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you to everyone who is listening.
Yeah, if you're still listening at this point, I fucking love you. We all do.
Hell yeah.
No
Till
me.
next time.
Till next time.